Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But what if the irritation isn't incidental? What if it's deliberate, designed, crafted as a tool to slowly unravel your sense of self? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might forever change how you see your relationships. Jung uncovered something profound. We all carry a shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we try to ignore. But emotional manipulators, they don't just ignore the shadow. They use yours against you, weaponizing your mind, turning your own psychology into a battleground. Let's paint a picture. You're mid-conversation and suddenly you're apologizing. You're not even sure why. You leave the room feeling drained, unsteady, doubting your own memory. Sound familiar? That's not random. That's a tactic. Carl Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Manipulators know this, and they twist that fear like a blade. They know people would rather blame themselves than admit that someone they love is slowly rewriting their story. According to Jung's theory of the collective unconscious, we all share deep instinctual patterns, archetypes. The longing to belong, the fear of abandonment, the hunger to be understood. Manipulators learn how to press these buttons, not from textbooks but by instinct. They become masters of the human psyche, not to heal but to control. Here's where it gets darker. Jung taught us about projection. We naturally cast our repressed feelings onto others. But manipulators flip this process. They make you the source of the chaos. They accuse you of overreacting, of being too sensitive, too needy, even when your instincts are dead on. It's psychological warfare, judo of the mind. As Jung said, everything unconscious in ourselves we discover in our neighbor. But what if the neighbor is actively seeding those unconscious beliefs? Manipulators become mirrors, but not honest ones. They reflect a warped version of you, always wrong, always dramatic, always too much. And since we all carry inner doubts and buried insecurities, we start to believe them. But here's the most insidious part. Jung talked about the persona, the mask we wear to navigate society. It's not inauthentic, it's functional, adaptive. But emotional manipulators don't just wear masks. They force you to wear theirs. They craft a version of you, compliant, agreeable, silent, just to keep their peace. And the cruel trick is, it feels like growth. You think you're becoming more patient, more mature, more loving, but you're not growing. You're erasing yourself. Jung called true growth individuation, becoming your whole, integrated self. But manipulators punish your realness and reward your obedience. Over time, you stop recognizing yourself. You become your own jailer. And the bars? They're made of unspoken rules and internalized guilt. Now let's zoom out. Jung discovered that groups, families, communities have shadows too. Shared patterns of unconscious behavior. Manipulators hijack these systems. They don't just rewrite your story. They recruit the audience. They cast themselves as the peacemaker, the misunderstood one, the victim. And suddenly you're the unstable one, the over-emotional one, the problem. Jung warned, the individual must struggle not to be overwhelmed by the tribe. But what happens when the entire tribe is seeing you through a lens someone else designed? And still, there's more. Jung spoke of the anima and animus, the feminine side in men and the masculine in women. These are the portals to empathy, creativity, connection. Manipulators target these traits, not because they fear them, but because they can use them. They appeal to your nurturing side, your loyalty, your hope that love can heal everything. They make their pain your job. Their chaos becomes your responsibility. And all the while you're looking outward, at them, their needs, their story, instead of inward. Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." But manipulators keep you distracted, so you never get to awaken. You're always too busy fixing them to ever find yourself. And this is the trap Jung believed our deepest. Psychological goal is individuation, to become fully ourselves, but manipulators cannot let that happen. Why? Because a whole person is immune to their control. Someone who knows who they are, trusts their instincts, owns their shadow, sees through the game instantly. Jung also believed in something called active imagination, the dialogue with the unconscious. But when you're being manipulated, your inner voice gets buried under noise, doubt, confusion. Your own mind becomes hostile territory. But here's what they don't want you to know. Beneath all that noise, Jung discovered a deeper layer of wisdom, the collective unconscious. a shared ancestral intuition that speaks truth. Manipulators work overtime to disconnect you from this wisdom. They tell you your gut is broken, your reactions are wrong, your perception is flawed. But they're lying. That voice inside you, the one they tried to silence, is ancient, powerful, and still alive. Jung said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but to seek and remove the barriers you've built against it." But what if those barriers weren't built by you? Here's the turning point. Healing from manipulation is shadow work. You must face the truth, that someone violated your trust, that you allowed pieces of yourself to be buried, that you became an accomplice in your own silence. And that's not weakness. That's the beginning of power. Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The darkness isn't just theirs. It's the part of you that chose silence over truth, peace over authenticity. But now you get to choose differently. Because Jung believed something sacred. The self, your true essence, cannot be destroyed. It can be hidden, bruised, silenced, but not erased. It's always calling you home. So how do you begin? 1. Practice active imagination. Start asking, what do I think? What do I feel when I remove their voice from my mind? 2. Reclaim your shadow. That anger, that refusal, that need to speak, it's not a flaw. It's your power returning. 3. Trust your inner archetypes. The urge to protect yourself, to speak truth, to walk away. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. And here's the most liberating insight Jung ever gave us. Individuation, becoming your true self, creates psychological sovereignty. You become the authority of your reality. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You stop trading authenticity for approval. That, right there, is every manipulator's worst nightmare. Because once you individuate, once you integrate your shadow and reclaim your truth, manipulation bounces off. You become immune not by building walls, but by rooting so deeply in yourself that no lie can take hold. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And when you remember who that is, no one can ever take it from you again." And one final truth, healing isn't just personal. Jung believed that every individual healing journey sends ripples into the collective. When you break the pattern, when you refuse to be controlled, you make it harder for manipulation to thrive in families, cultures, entire generations. And this is the final question Jung invites us to ask. What myth am I living? After manipulation, you get to write a new myth, one where you are the main character, where you stop performing and start living. You become whole, unshakable, rooted, awake. You are not who they said you were. You are not your silence, your wounds, or your compliance. You are a sovereign soul, powerful, wise, and free. And that, my friend, is the one truth they could never erase.